Hi there. Welcome into twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham Day, and I'm joined by a man that we call Bibby, even though there's a card next to him that says Michael Meehan, so, you know, it's not as like it's... what are you doing with your face? Damn. Nice.
What a guy.
Nice.
What a guy.
For anyone that's listening on demand to this, Bibby was stroking his own face, but it wasn't his face, it was his face. If that doesn't make sense, well, if you want it to make sense, you can watch the video on YouTube, or you can check out the podcasts live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. But you're listening to it, so you'll just have to go on not knowing what it was. But as mentioned, I'm Graham, this is Bib. We are Ice Cream in true Ice Creamy fashion. This is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast. Bibby just did a proper CITV wave then. Hi! Children's BBC. For anyone international, BBC is a TV channel in the UK and not what you think it is. That's a different type of video on the internet. Anyway, we are here to give you our thoughts and our impressions on the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games. But it's not just about our thoughts and impressions. We want to hear your thoughts and impressions. Then your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. That's kind of how the whole thing works. So if you are in the stream, please do feel free. I think this is the first time I've mentioned BBC in the intro of a stream ever. This is
Do you know what? The CITV wave, that's caught me well off guard, that.
Yes, get involved in the stream. I can't remember where I was up, so please do feel free to get involved. But make sure you do, because we turn the live stream. We may be live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads, where we go live each and every single weekday-ish at 10 a.m. Ish. But the live stream is turned into a podcast, a video on YouTube, and an audio podcast on iTunes and Spotify and Amazon Music and Google Play. There's a lot of places where over 250,000, and I'm just jumping to it. It's got to be over 250,000 because we've been on 200,000 for about a year now. So I reckon we've had over 250,000 downloads. So I'm sticking with it until someone tells me it's wrong.
Do it.
So, yeah, over 250,000 people have watched and listened to our podcasts on demand. So please do feel free to get involved if you are in the stream, because there's a lot of people that would like to hear or question us or change the narrative, and you can do that for them. So make sure you do. Nice. Before we get into the news, a couple of talking points. First off, we were talking about this on the pre-show on Twitch. We are doing regular short-form content across TikTok, across Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and so on. So if you want to see some vertical short-form content, then we are on all of those platforms at Ice Cream Uploads. And we're hoping to bring you at least one video a day, but if not, it'll be a few bits of content a week. Some of those will be rehashes of old-form content. Some of them will be like Bibby put out last week, which was a stream highlights package. Some will be new content specifically shot for short form, so there will be bits that won't be on any other platforms that will be going straight into short form as well. So if you want to see all of our content, then the short form stuff will have that too. You don't necessarily have to be across all of them. We'll simulcast that content out across the platforms, but obviously you can watch and engage anywhere, so please feel free to do that. As well as that, if you want to sub to the channel, we are currently on 85 sub points at the moment on Twitch, which is a phenomenal number. Shout out to Spiffy Domino Spiff who give us 5 gift as
Spiffer
in the pre-show. We are 15 away from 100, and if we hit that, we'd be on a phenomenal number, because that'd be our third month of 100 subs, which gets us the 3-month streak and a 60-40 revenue split in our favour. Nice. Woo. So please do feel free to throw your subs down. Also, one thing that I've just realised that's not actually in the news. Twitch have put sub prices up by like 25%. They will be going up in March by 25%. So, you know, this is the good time to get your subs in if you want some ad-free viewing. Also, this isn't meant to be for a sell, by the way, because this is more for you. Obviously, we benefit from it, but if you are going to sub to a channel for a long period of time, definitely make use of the bulk buy like 6 months in advance kind of thing, because you will save money on the subs. But doing that now means you'll not get the price increase as well. So buying 6 months now to your favourite channel, whether it's us, whether it's Big Hamish, whether it's Pirate Lou who's in the chat, or Stento, or anyone else, sub to your favourite people for 6 months. If you're going to do that anyway, because you'll save 30% on your 6-month sub, plus it's going up by 25% every month. So just saying.
What about your Twitch Prime? Is that still usable?
I believe so.
Okay.
So it's not a big brown cookie? No. I don't know what David's talking about. This is the second
doing
time.
it again.
It's the second time today. Yes, David, I'm saying lots of words very fast at pace, so I don't tend to keep hold of the words that I've just said. So, BBC. Okay, there we go. No, it's not. Oh, I suppose it could be. Depends. I know. Goddamn. Anyway, yeah. As well as all of that stuff, if you are a sub to the channel, whether you're gifted by Spiffy or anyone else, you can enter the loot drop, and you will be entered into the loot drop. All you have to do is be a sub to our channel on the first Monday of every month, and you'll be entered in for a chance to win a prize, whether you've paid for it yourself or someone else has. So yeah, nice. Do I have the discussing now on screen? I don't. Nice. I did the other day. Has maybe eaten. Are you okay, Gagad? or David has maybe eaten too much Big Brown Cookie. Is that what you're saying? I thought you were trying to say he's maybe eaten. I mean, he can do what he wants. He could do what he wants. He could do what he wants. Just like us, we are going to do what we want, and that is talking about video game news. Mr. Bibb, do you have a PS5?
I most certainly do.
Would you like a new PS5?
I'm quite happy with the one that I have right now. Thank you very much.
What if we said your PS5 could be the same PS5, but we can add 3 more letters to it?
What are the 3 letters, Graham?
I'll jump over to this article. I thought he's going to expect me to say pro here, so I'm going to throw him a curveball, and it worked.
How did you know? How did you know?
But yeah, PS5 Pro expected this year. Report. This is from Tom Phillips over at Eurogamer. It says, quotes in the tagline, ready for release of GTA 6 in 2025. So Sony is expected to launch a souped-up version of the PS5 later this year, analysts have suggested. A new CNBC report notes that there was now broad consensus in the game industry that Sony is indeed preparing even a launch of the PS5 Pro in the second half of 2024, quoting Tokyo-based games analyst Seikan Toto. However, the report cautions that Sony is unlikely to see a large uptick in PS5 sales year on year as a result of the Pro's launch, and is also unlikely to cut the cost of the base PS5 model as a result. Sony, unsurprisingly, has not commented on CNBC's report. Quote, Sony will want to make sure to have a great piece of hardware ready when GTA 6 hits in 2025, a launch that will be a shot in the arm for the entire gaming industry, Toto commented. Nice, got there eventually. Word of the PS5 Pro launching this year is nothing new. Rumours spread last summer, which Digital Foundry analysed at the time, based on a report by journalist Tom Henderson, who correctly predicted both Sony's Project Q handheld and updated PS5 Slim with detachable disk drive. It's unclear exactly what boost in power the PS5 Pro might receive, however. It then goes on to talk about other bits and clock speeds and stuff, which we will leave. You guys can see that in the article if you want to see that. For us, we'll just talk about the headline. PS5 Pro expected later this year. Same person, Tom Henderson, that had PlayStation Portal and a PS5 Slim in the roundup. He says PS5 Pro happening. Thoughts, Mr. Bibb?
Yeah, I didn't think we was going to be getting a revision. I mean, we've had the PS5 Slim. I thought that obviously would be the first revision that we're going to get from the console, obviously, because it is such a large console. Like, it's nearly, do you know what? It's nearly as tall as my PC tower, which is bizarre for a home console. Obviously the biggest home console by a landslide, I think.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me that we've obviously got a smaller version of it. Obviously, as technology moves forward, they can go, actually, we can make this 30% smaller. Okay, no problems, we'll do that. But having a Pro coming out, like, I don't know what that looks like in terms of pushing. Yeah. In terms of pushing what graphics, what pushing the kind of power that you can get from this console from such a smaller chipset or whatever it is that's going to be used or utilized within this system. I'm very interested to see what it looks like. I'm also very interested to see the price point, because it mentioned in the article that they're not reducing the price point of the original one, which obviously makes it mean that you're probably likely to spend another £150 to £200 on top of
£600.
Do you know what? I don't think you're going to be a million miles away there, G. I really don't.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested to see what the power and performance is compared to what we already have, and what kind of games it's going to change. Like, are we going to be getting games that, rather than having the standard 60 frames across it, is going to be increased to a minimum of 90 or something like that? Not that that's a thing, but they need to have some sort of selling point for this new console, right? Especially for the price that they're meant to be, or proposing that they're going to end up selling to you.
So we're looking at £359, so 360 quid for a PS5, 400 quid for the PS5 with disc drive, and there or thereabouts, depending on where you're buying it, because there's obviously little bits of fluctuation in the price now. Everywhere used to be set at the exact same pound for pound sort of stuff, but 4 years into it, you get some might be 389, some might be 420 quid, but that's for the the slim version as well, the newer version. So if we're looking at 400 quid, it's probably safe to say 500 quid minimum, 558 possible, 59999 also possible, which makes me want to hurl a little bit. Do
you know what? I genuinely think that's what the price point is going to be for this. It can't be. It can't be £100 more, because even people who aren't into tech, they're looking at it and going, right, for £100 more, I can have this. But it's like, is £100 that much of a difference in terms of graphics card or power or RAM or CPU or whatever it is that they're going to be changing? And it is £100 enough for you to be able to. You'd want to spend £250 more, right? Because then if you're spending £250 more, that the performance from that new console is going to be justifiable, rather than it being £100. Because for £100 you could buy a new SSD to put in it.
I reckon as well. Excuse me. That it's not just from a consumer perspective. Looking at it from their angle of trying to shift the units, they've got a shitload of PS5s. Probably less, but still quite a lot of PS5 Slims, and then you're going to have the PS5 Pro if it lands this holiday period. And there's only 100 quid more. Nobody's going to be buying your PS5s and your PS5 Slims. So that stock is going to be sat there. The SKUs are just going to be getting dusty. Stores are going to be like, we need to move this shit so we can sell something else that we can actually sell. So you need to drop the price. And they won't want to drop their prices. So the best way then is to build in that price differential. I say the best, not from the consumer, from PlayStation. It's obviously shit for us. But from PlayStation, is okay, we make it 200, 250 quid more. Then there's a significant cost increase. People can come in and go, okay, it's not just like a good and better. You've got good and best. There's a significant jump there. People don't mind jumping up for, if like this is sales technique. We've spoken about this before. The good, better, best. The 3 levels of selling. Sell someone that's good, but then if you want to make it a bit better, you can just spend 50 quid more in it and it gets better. But if you spend 200 quid more, you get the best version, which has got all this. And people go, well, I like the idea of the best, but I don't have it much, so I'll just spend a bit more and get better. People they can build that in there by having your good, better, best leveling. So from a retail perspective, which makes me cry, is I think you're right. I think this comes in at 600-ish quid, and I don't know what we get for that though. Like, obviously, built-in SSD is the easy one to go for. Some more SSD space, maybe space for two sticks to be plugged in or something like that. But like, what can they really do? It's AMD powered, I think, from graphics stuff. Like, is there enough of an advancement since the PS5 came out for console tech to add more? Because
literally, like, I'm not a PC tech guy, so I wouldn't even know the components that were side by side comparable to how much it would cost to be put into a PC versus how much it costs to be put into a PlayStation. Obviously, the PlayStations are manufactured at an insane rate, so you can justify the price points being mass manufactured is the word I'm looking for. So the price obviously ends up coming down because you're building so many, you can get the parts cheaper. That's how these things tend to work. So I don't know how much it would cost versus putting the exact same parts into a PC, and then what then the upgraded PC equivalent would look like being put into a PlayStation 5 system. Like, I should have really looked at the dates for this, but I don't know what the dates were compared to the PlayStation 4 coming out and then the PlayStation 4 Pro. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it was probably 5 years.
See, I think you're right. I was thinking the same thing. I think in terms of a console's life cycle, we're actually not bad in terms of when the PS5 Pro should come out, because we're about 4 years in. Was it like 2020 and we're already in 2024? So we're coming up to 4 years. Like, I think it'd be October, November or whatever when the PS4 came out.
It was less than 4 years.
Like, was it 2020 though?
Oh, sorry, I was looking at the PlayStation 4 release date.
Okay.
Was
oh no, I'm thinking of PS5. Sorry,
2013, and then the PS4 Pro was 2016. So it was 3 years.
So that's smack bang in the middle of a product life cycle, because a product life cycle is on average it's probably more like 6 to 7 years, but it used to be 5 to 7 years, and I think the last gen was the longest at about 8 years. So if it was 5 to 7 years, 3 years is mid-gen refresh. So in that sense, we are ready for a PS5 Pro, because we got the PS5 in... Was it October 2020? It was something like that. If that's the case, October this year will be 4 years since we got the PS5s. The difference...
November 2020.
Is it November? That's it. So the difference is... me and Bib got our PS5s on launch day. You may remember us showing off, willy waving and stuff. But like Neil's
sitting outside my window for a while.
Yeah, Neil's comment: Pro will be scalped so badly again that no one will get it without spending a fortune. Hi Neil, by the way. Also, hi Yoda, and yes, it is a fresh new haircut. Thank you for noticing. Pengu, hi, welcome in. So, yeah, we got ours on day one, but shit loads of people didn't. So, like Neil says, the Pro will be scalped. The fact that the PS5 was scalped wasn't necessarily just the scalper's fault. There was a microchip shortage that lasted for 18 months. Technically, that might even still be ongoing. I don't know whether they've officially counted that as being over now or not. So that meant that we had a shortage of consoles hitting the market. They weren't hitting the market fast enough, which allowed scalping to be a thing. It will definitely be a thing again, but that effectively put the console life cycle back by 18 months, 2 years, 2.5 years-ish. So if we're like 4 years in, some people are only a year and a half into their generation, and they've already got a PS5 Slim that's come out since, and now there's going to be a PS5 Pro. It's almost like Nintendo Switch. You get a Switch, and do you want a light one? Do you want a mega one? Do you want a mega light one? Do you want a light mega one? They're like, I don't know what I wanted. I just want to play some fucking games. So we'll get that, and I understand from PlayStation's standpoint, because even though hardware was slower to produce, there is it Moore's Law? I always forget what it's called. Moore's Law is something along the lines of the number of transistors, or it might not be the word transistors. I'll use the word microchips because that's very vague and generic. The number of microchips or components on a computer board basically doubles every year or something along those lines. That might not be right. Please do feel free to correct me if you know Moore's Law in the chat. Basically, technology always advances. And even though it was difficult for people to get hold of stuff, technology has moved forward, and developers have to plan for Moore's Law. Basically, they have to plan around the fact that everything gets bigger and faster at an exponential rate. So stuff is moving. Stuff is going forward. So developers and hardware developers still have to churn stuff out, and then obviously you've got things like shareholders and stuff that still need to make money and so on. So these shareholders have to sell PS5 Pros. Developers, hardware and software, need to create new stuff. So we are still moving, but the rest of the world is sat there going, I've literally just taken the wrapper off my PS5 and you're selling me another one after trying to sell me a slimmer one last week. Settle down, mate. God damn.
But it just made me think that I had to buy a new controller not that long ago. I think it was me and you was playing Fortnite together, weren't we? This right trigger just died. Like, the rest of the controller is perfectly fine, but it's a floppy. It has no resistance to it now. So if you're running, it just starts firing when you're playing any kind of Battle Royale, or if you're playing Pro Evo.
It sounded like that last night on stream for me.
yeah. I don't know why that was. That was just a box game. That was so bizarre.
Fortnite,
Yeah. But this being my day one PlayStation 5 controller, I'm not going to bin it or anything, because I bet it's just a proper easy fix to be able to do it. But bought this black one, and these controllers have lasted me 4 years without having to buy a new one. Obviously, I've just said that I bought this one now, but a controller lasting 4 years is unbelievable. That compared to obviously the PlayStation 4, which I ended up going through a controller, not because I was throwing them against a wall or anything like that.
Because he eats them.
because he eat them. But do you know what? Speaking of eating, the analog sticks. Like, do you remember the PlayStation 4 analog sticks that always used to peel
they were
constantly?
Made out of, like, what was it, rice paper that you used to get as a kid? As soon as you get it, just, like, disintegrate. What the fuck?
Like, the amount of thumbsticks that I used to put, you know, the thumbstick covers that you could put over the thumbsticks to protect them. I just used to have one of those constantly on it because they just wear so fast. Like, I know I don't play games as much as I used to, but
I'm
by
holding
far
up a
the
Scuff
best controller.
So this is my Scuff controller from a PS4 that I not only played through PS4 but into PS5 because PUBG is a PS4 game on PS5. And those little sticks, they are covers on the end because basically they use as much actual PlayStation components as possible. And it had PlayStation 4 sticks on it, so naturally it disintegrated. So yeah.
So I've actually still got my Xbox 360 controller here. Obviously got this old City badge on.
Summit on the front of it there. Damn.
That's my wireless one that I use for my 360, which is just out of shot. It's just there on the side. But then I've also got a wired one that I use for my PC if I'm playing something. I don't know. Yeah, I know. Can't you tell that I used to be a right sad bastard? Used to be.
I mean, I can't say not. Mine's red for United, so I didn't choose that though. Scuff gave it to me at a United game, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
But yeah, just say that these controllers, obviously, they're the kind of things that they will be able to make money back off of because they're perishable parts. It's like a car. You got your outer shell, you've got your engine and things like that. They tend to last quite a while. But then things like your clutch, your brake pads, your brake discs, all of these things eventually will start to wear out. So you have to keep on replacing them. That's how they end up getting more money for you because they want you to go to their service stations after the 5-year warranty is finished.
Or 4-year warranty, as it sounds like at the moment. 4 years and you'll get a PS5 Pro. Goddamn. I mean, they'll be making more money if they come in at that 250 quid higher, because you always get less for it. If you have a PS5 and you want the PS5 Slim, you try trading your PS5 now, you'll still have to pay 150 quid to get the PS5 Slim, and that's same price range / maybe a bit cheaper if you're going for the disc free. Well, you've got the disc drive console, but you want the get the idea. So you still got to spend to get that. So now it'll be like, give us your PlayStation 5 and pay the cost of a PlayStation 5, and you will get a PlayStation 5 Pro. It's like, so you basically you want 2 PlayStations for a PlayStation, mate. Okay. And it needs to have something. And David's put there, it looks like the PS5 Pro will be running AMD's RDNA 3, upgraded from RDNA 2 in the current versions of PS5s, according to Tech Power Up. David, I understand the words there. It's bigger and better and newer. Can you give me that in football terms? What does that mean? I appreciate you putting the link in there as well, by the way. If you can give me an idiot sentence of what the difference is between RDNA 3 and RDNA 2. I know that'll mean more powerful than the more of the things that do stuff faster. But is there anything specific that he does? Blue Ninja, welcome in. Thank you for the follow, by the way. We do have these discussions every single day, every weekday, 10 a.m. without fail. Welcome in. I appreciate you dropping the follow. If it's been 4 years, won't the PS6 be out soon? Well, that's the thing. Just a couple of weeks ago, PlayStation had an investor call and said something that they've never said before, especially whilst the product range is live. And I think it was like a PR mask slipping, but they used the phrase, and this isn't a direct quote, so I may be misphrasing it slightly, but the sentiment's still the same. Now that we're approaching the end of the product's life cycle, is what they said. What they mean is, realistically, in the grand scheme of the world and PlayStation and so on, we are 4 years into what is a 7-year life cycle, 8 at a push. So we are already, even at the longest life cycle, on the off-ramp. We've passed Wednesday of the week. We're past the hump day. We're heading straight into the weekend at full speed now. So we understand that, but they've never said that before. Not like that. So that got people thinking, fuck, are they trying to get rid of the PS5 really quickly? But this kind of makes you think, well, maybe not. Maybe that was just someone chatting PR stuff. I mean, we are only 4 years away maximum from the next generation. That's just how console sales work and stuff. But they want to sell a PS5 Slim and a PS5 Pro heavily within that. Bearing in mind, they have done that for every generation pretty much previously anyway. We got, we got a Pro last generation, but we got a Slim, and we've had Slims and stuff previously, and then we've never been Pro'd, but you've got like a bigger hard drive and a whatever. So they always do this anyway. It just feels too soon, and I think that's just because of the world that we've lived in the last 5 years. On paper, it feels fine. I mean, they've got another hardware release after a hardware release, which has followed a hardware release. So we've got the PS5 Pro coming, which is just following the PS5 Slim, which is just announced, which also is coming alongside the PS Portal, which is a nice jumping off point for us to jump into the next bit. So PlayStation definitely have no problems producing hardware. I feel the issues will just come with, will that start to stagnate? Because they're clearly winning the hardware sales, 2-1 versus Xbox, but will they get to the point where they're just producing so much that people go, I'm not even bothered anymore, I don't even know where to keep up, because we work in video games, we talk about video games on the internet, and this feels like there's a lot flying.
Well, surely this is what I don't want to use the word fatigue, because that's such a damning word when it comes to stuff like this, but this is what we discussed on Monday, right? About what Xbox are trying to do. They're trying to move away slowly but surely about having where you play your video games at a specific place. Like they're obviously releasing, or they're being said that they're going to be releasing their first party titles across multiple platforms. Obviously, that's great for everybody, but ultimately, what makes you want to now go out and buy an Xbox when you know you can play them on your PC or play them on your mobile phone? So having PlayStation want to come out and keep on trying to sell consoles, there was always this old mantra of they're always sold at a loss, which obviously I imagine when they're first being created, manufactured and shipped out, I imagine that's probably the case. But after 4 years, I can't see that being the case now, because obviously parts become a lot cheaper. They're mass produced now. They're a lot more in stores because they can keep up with the demand. So it will become a profitable system to sell, but then obviously they bring out newer ones which using more expensive parts that probably aren't as easily accessible. So it is a bold decision from the likes of Xbox to say that they potentially might move away from it at some point. Obviously, I can't see that being in the next 10 years for at least.
On the flip side, Tito's comment says, I don't feel that current gen has been pushed in terms of the games on them yet. Current gen is always held up by the previous gen. Our games still being produced for PS4. And that's the thing. I mean, Xbox, you've got to think, like, this generation has been the slowest in terms of technical advancements in the software side of things. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying that having an SSD and having DLSS and all sorts of other stuff, ray tracing functions and so on, they're huge software advances, but we aren't being given them full whack because we are still catering for the last generation. That is now starting to drop off, but if you go back 5 years, PlayStation were pushing how they believed in generations. They will stop making PS4 games and make PS5 games. Mm-hmm. But then we got a world where we needed millions of more people on gaming functions because there was nothing to do in the world because of COVID. And then suddenly you've got a massive install base of PS4 users that have just bought them that aren't going to buy PS5s. Okay, well, that's a lot of money that's left on the table that we're not going to sell to. If we don't convert these people over the next few years to gamers, we might lose them back to the mainstream. So we have to keep providing them with software to keep them going. So all of your Miles Morales and your Horizons and stuff that should have been PS5 specific were then made available on all gens and stuff. And obviously Xbox has its smart delivery system as well, so you can play it on your Xbox Series consoles and your One consoles as well. And so, yeah, we are in a world where that hardware stuff isn't as important. I mean, it can be, but it isn't because of cash money. So yeah, Xbox's decision to do that is definitely a smart decision, but also a risky decision at the same time. Yeah. Is it right? Is it wrong? I can't tell you. Ask me in 5 years and I'll tell you then. Although Tito did mention a comment which I chuckled at. If anyone was watching my face about 2-3 minutes ago, I looked at the chat and smiled because never have I seen someone tap in their own goal as clean as Gagad has just done here. Dave doesn't idiot. He leaves that to his brother. Comments after, doesn't do. Nice! Never a truer word spoken. Dave doesn't idiot. Oh, that's amazing. You can stick around, Gagad. Thank you. I don't even need to. You take care of it yourself. GPU speed, data bandwidth, and memory allocation for the most part are improved. There you go. Lots of numbers. Things get faster. Nice. Can we please crucify Gagad for his typo, please? Thank you. He did it. It's fine. He's taking care of it. How many scalpers are still sitting on stock of PS5s? Probably not that many, to be fair.
Yeah, I doubt it.
We covered it. You saw them starting to short their profits on it quite quickly. So they went from 400 quid to 200 quid to 60 quids and we'll just break even and stuff. So I imagine most scalpers have got rid of stuff because it is pretty easy to go out and buy a PS5 now. So very few.
You can literally buy them off the shelf.
Yeah, exactly. So very few will be. If there's no ability to scalp it, then there's no market. So yeah, very few. I expect no less. Look at PUBG. It needs to commit to sacking off all gen 100%. The thing is, though, PUBG is a one brand business. So Crafton has obviously other games, but games like Callisto Protocol didn't come out and set the world on fire. So the entire business hinges on PUBG. And if you do an Overwatch and go, we'll bring out Overwatch 2, which is a sequel. Yeah, big new game, pow! But then they go, yeah, but what if Overwatch 2's like Destiny? And it takes a long time for people to start to buy into Destiny 2 because it's kind of not right there and it needs more functions and stuff and so on. Don't get me wrong, Destiny 2 has done that. It's bridged its gap. But for a long time, it didn't. But if that's the only game that's keeping your business and your very angry Tencent shareholders happy, then you can't take the risks there. So the reason there is that we've got PUBG, and if you move it to PS5 and your PS4 players can't play, people get pissed off and angry and you lose a shitload of money. You move it to Unreal Engine and PS4 can't handle it, you lose millions of players there while satisfying different audience and stuff. So they need to do that, like the Fortnite sort of aspect, and make it Unreal Engine 5 but still work on old gens and phones and so on. But that requires smart developers. Wasn't meant to be a bit of shade, but that requires developers that are willing to put in the hard yards and develop a system that is backwards compatible, that does work across multiple systems and does work across multiple platforms and devices and so on. So yeah, difficult. I feel like there's going to be more of a straight up switch. But the difficulty with the PUBG 2 is, in the real world, you should go, here's number 2. It's completely different from number 1. It's a sequel, because then everyone stops and goes, oh, this is a brand new thing that's the same as what we like. We know sequels work. We've been watching fucking superhero movies for 25 years kind of thing. We know it works. But then you do an Overwatch and go, well, it's going to be Overwatch 2, but Overwatch 1's going to be with inside it so that everything you've got before still kind of goes forward, but kind of doesn't. And there's other bits that do, and fumbled the bag. It just did not work because they were trying to be greedy. They wanted to keep hold of everyone they had before rather than making saying it with your chest statement of moving forward. I'm not sure PUBG does that, saying it with your chest statement. There's so many times where they straddle the middle ground and they go, oh, that might be coming soon, or we might do this, or try to avoid stressing players and stuff, and it just doesn't turn out good. So yeah. Destiny 2 killed me, loved it, then ran out of things to do so quickly. Yes, we are beginning to reach the limits of what air cooler consoles and PCs can do, so I think that in the next 2 generations of console, we could be seeing water cooling in one way or another, unless we get more massive consoles. PS5 says, what? Nice. Yeah. Maybe we don't. Maybe we start to see smaller and smaller consoles, which is what I'm going to bring up in a second when I can figure out where to take the discussing now screen. Nice. Chris Scullion at VGC has our next story, which doesn't go too far. It says, PS Portal, a new console from PlayStation, has been hacked, and it can now run PSP games offline. The exploit is the work of Google security engineers. So a group of Google engineers has figured out how to hack the Sony PS Portal to make it run games locally. The Portal is a streaming-only device, which is designed to let players stream their PS5 console to the handheld via remote play, so they can be played away from the TV. As such, the stock version of the hardware offers no options to save physical games, offering streaming functionality and nothing else. However, Google Cloud vulnerability researcher Andy, I think that is Huynh, Nguyen, I believe is Huynh, but if I'm wrong, someone said different, but I'll go with that. Andy Huynh has now revealed that he and a small team of other Google engineers have managed to hack the device to play games locally. Specifically, the team has been able to get the portal to install the PPSSPP emulator, which runs PSP games, and run it natively without connecting online and streaming anything. According to Huynh, the hack was done on a software level, meaning that hardware wasn't tampered with in any way, and there are no plans to release the hack. He also notes that the portal, which reportedly runs via Android, has around 6 gig of internal storage. Given that it's designed as a streaming device, this is likely used primarily for the operating system and any future updates. And then we get into the VGC review. But, Mr. Bibb.
Yeah.
As a person that owns a PSP and many games, and therefore has the right to play emulator versions of those games legally, air quotes, asterisks, just to point it out, legally, on other platforms like PS Vitas and so on, does this tickle your pickle?
It most certainly does. As you can see, I've got my Game Boy there. I've got my sister's Game Boy, which I've rescued because it's absolutely onkin, and I'm going to put a new shell in it. But in that case, there is my PSP. Right there is my PS Vita. I absolutely adore those consoles, all of them. I love the fact that we've got a new Sony handheld, but it frustrates me that it's just solely a streaming device. Now, the fact that this has an internal memory card of only 6 gigabyte is a little bit annoying. I wonder now if the next step for this is for someone to go in, actually change the availability of I don't even know what's inside. It's an SSD, right? Or is it just an SD card? Is someone just going to switch that out?
Yes.
I haven't checked.
I don't know.
Yeah. Is 12 dissing my fringe? I was thinking that, to be fair. It looks very, very swept. It looks very swept, but anyway. Yeah, is it just one of these things that we can just swap out an SD card and put a new one in, and then have 120 gigabytes available for us to be able to load in something like? They said they're not going to release it. It's going to get leaked. Someone else is going to figure it out. If they know it can be done now, someone will be reverse engineering it as we speak to try and get this out to the masses. It wouldn't surprise me if in the next 2 months we get some sort of software hack for this readily available in the wild and people start doing this. From what it looks like and the space that's available now, you might only be able to get 1 or 2 PSP games on there, but that obviously opens the door for, I don't know, 400 NES games, 400 Mega Drive games or something like that to be able to put onto this device. It's obviously because of PSP games being about 1.5 gig. Obviously, that will open the door up for the much smaller games from the older devices to have an actual emulator on this system. But yeah, I love the idea of this. I love the idea of a PS Vita coming back into the wild and actually being the device that it definitely should have been 10 years ago. But yeah, this is amazing news. Amazing news.
It's amazing, but infuriating. Like the PS Portal being a streaming only device is obviously a missed chance, a missed opportunity. But you can see that with the hardware that they've got there, with the processing powers that it's got for just a streaming device, the fact that you can play PS Portal games on it, it's just an opportunity missed. Like PS Portal, PSP games, should I say? It's just an opportunity missed. The fact that we've got PSP games sat there, so you can turn it from being a streaming device that you can only use when you have a connection to something that is offline and take it with you. So yeah, I can sit in my chair in the living room playing on PUBG, whatever it is. I'm going to be playing on my PlayStation while Danielle's watching TV, or I can go upstairs and sit on the toilet, drop the kids off at the pool while I'm playing some more games. Jobs are good and nice. But then when I want to leave the house because I'm travelling, I'm on a train, I'm on a plane, I'm in a car, I'm whatever, and I don't have a strong enough connection to dial into my console, which is me anyway. If I leave the house, my connection's not strong enough for me to play well enough on my PS Remote Play app on any device, because it requires mega internet. They've got it. They say it needs 16 meg. I have like 70 meg, and it's not enough flawlessly for it. And that's not even factoring in the fact that my internet shits the bed and drops out. But it stays constant. It stays reliable. It just packs up. But even when it's constant and reliable, it's not enough for that. So being able to turn it then into an offline device means that I still get use of it when I'm not sat within a sniff of my PS5 console. Why do I not have this? Why does this not exist there, kind of thing? So, yeah, opportunity missed. The PS Portal is a cool device that's clearly flawed, but could have had some of those flaws removed, as people not within PlayStation have already found out just within a few months of it coming out. I do like what you say, though. The fact that they've hacked it. It took them a month of hard work, apparently, according to a tweet embedded in the article. After a month of hard work, PPSSPP is running natively on the PlayStation Portal. Yes, we hacked it with help from XYZ and Zeta2. So either Andy Huyn's not going to share it, but Zeta2 might go, do you know what, fuck it, I've got a couple of mates, I'm going to talk to them, and I'm going to give them pointers and stuff, and within a few months, someone else will have hacked it, because now they know it's possible. Okay, well, I'll go at it. I can make money off this. Will be some malicious people as well, so it'll come out. We know it can be done. It will be done. Is that. You keep smiling.
I've got 12 sending me. Yeah,
I was going to say, it's 12 messages
now. Yeah, he just sent me a sticker of me and my fringe. He's got in my head, rent free.
I mean, he's got lots of heads, so he's used to it. So, yeah, and I mean, skull, not, other things. I know what you guys are thinking.
Yeah. No one's touching that.
Yeah, damn. Well, yeah, not his. Anyway. Hi there, 12. Phil Spencer claims getting rid of physical games isn't a strategic thing for Xbox. So as we've just been talking about PlayStation, going, do you know what? We don't need physical games in our PS Portal. Phil Spencer goes, we'll keep them. Nice. Tom Ivan at VGC says, but it will follow what customers are doing. And right now, a majority are buying games digitally. So Microsoft's head of gaming has claimed that getting rid of physical media isn't a strategic goal for Xbox, but its support for disc-based gamers appears far from unwavering. Legal documents leaked last September potentially laid bare key elements of Microsoft's gaming strategy for years to come, including plans to launch an adorably all-digital Xbox Series X console codenamed Brooklyn. While its plans may have changed, according to the documents, the console was targeting a November 2024 launch and a $499 price point. Xbox boss, Phil Spencer, wouldn't discuss the lead console in a recent interview with GameFile, but he told the publication that Microsoft will follow what the customers are doing. We are supportive of physical media, but we don't have a need to drive that disproportionate to customer demand, he said. We ship games physically and digitally, and we're really just following what the customers are doing. And I think our job in running Xbox is to deliver on the things that a majority of the customers want. And right now, a majority of our customers are buying games digitally. End quote. While most AAA games currently receive dual physical and digital releases, some are only available to download. High-profile examples include last October's Alan Wake 2 and Xbox's Hellblade 2, which will be released in May. Quote, gaming consoles themselves have kind of become the last consumer electronic device that has a drive, Spencer told GameFile. And this is a real issue, just in terms of the number of manufacturers that are actually building the drives and the cost associated with those. But I will say our strategy does not hinge on people moving all digital, he added. And getting rid of physical, that's not a strategic thing for us. I'll stop there for a second now, because we get the idea. It's probably going to go other angles and so on. But the gist is...
it's bullshit.
Fuck this shit. No, the gist is they aren't getting rid of physical games. Physical games that still sit in their psyche, but they understand that people are rapidly moving towards digital, and they will keep... what was the phrase? They will follow what the majority of customers are doing. Thoughts, Mr. Bibb?
Yeah, it's the fact that we might end up having an all-digital future. I'm not a fan of it. As someone who actually likes collecting, I mean, surely I'm not the only person in the world. I know I'm not the only person in the world, but surely I'm not the only person in the world that wants to be able to have physical media, like having the backwards compatibility and being able to put discs, Xbox discs into my Xbox consoles and them just working. And now obviously this isn't available on every single game. Games obviously get delisted and they just not have the appropriate API to be able to read your disc and go, okay, we have this on the server, you can be able to play this game. I understand that isn't the case for every single game. You will still have to have older hardware to play some games, mainly football titles and wrestling titles and things like that, which I am an avid collector of in the shelves behind me and stuff. Games that meant a lot to me growing up. I can't necessarily play them all on modern consoles, regardless of the backwards compatibility stuff. But we are going to be losing all of that. And collector's editions nowadays are coming with a box full of statues and all this other shit, with then a little leaflet inside it that says, here is your digital code for you to be able to download. You don't even get a physical disc. And if you do get a case, it's probably going to have a little leaflet in there as well that has a code printed on it.
Quite often,
I don't like that stuff.
You see it without even that. Quite often you get it where the game, like the special edition, doesn't have the game, let alone even a code. It's like, you want to buy the special edition of the game, buy the game separately. It's like, so, what? So I buy this? You've given me a steelbook case, and I don't even get a code for it sometimes? What? That's weird. That's weird.
It ruins the whole aesthetic of it. And I completely understand that it costs them less to be able to do this, to be able to manufacture the discs, to get them all having the cover art on and stuff, and then putting them into the cases, for then the cases to be distributed to all of these different places, to then get put onto the shelves, and then to be sold to you eventually. There's a lot of steps in there that obviously either people don't realise, or don't realise how much it costs to get all of that stuff done. I understand it's a lot cheaper for them to just be able to put it onto a server, manufacture and duplicate
not cheaper
it
for you, though, is
times. It's really not cheaper for anybody, Graham. Like, the fact that they can then dictate the prices that get put on the stores, like, and a game on the PlayStation store now is a AAA title, you're looking at 70 quid. Your top dollar games, your AAAs, your Call of Duties, things like that, 70 quid right off the bat, 75 quid maybe. You can go to Game Collection online and be able to buy the physical version for probably about 50, 55 quid. So you're saving money, but you're going to have to get off your ass to go and put the disc in. And is that worth £15 for me? It's definitely worth sticking it on there, because there's a lot of games that are going to get delisted that you're not going to be able to play. That's wank. That is genuinely wank. Like the whole licensing thing that comes with an all digital future. I understand that I am a part of that in the video game world. I'm also a part of it when I come to watch TV, whether or not I'm watching Netflix or whatever, or Amazon Prime. When it comes to streaming music, I obviously have Spotify. I do have vinyls. I do collect, not a lot of them, but mainly the ones that I really, really like. Have a record player downstairs. I am part of the physical and digital future, but the fact that Xbox want to kill that completely, that sucks so bad.
I'm mid-yawn. I perfectly timed that. Yeah, so, I mean, I feel like it's one of those things for Phil Spencer. He's kind of rocking a hard place there. He's like, yes, we are doing both of the things. Whatever you're about to say, we're doing the right one, is his answer there. Yeah, we are making physical games, because they are right now. But yes, we are looking at the fact that less people want them, because that's the way it is going right now. So he can't really answer it either way. So it's kind of one of those not really saying anything sort of statements. But yeah, I feel like it is one of those things. Natural progression will just ensure that that is the case. That is the way that things go. I do feel like there is the future for things like limited run games to be the norm, though. Yeah. Like, you go for everyone gets digital. If you want a physical version, the only physical versions that exist are your collector's edition versions. Tank's just typed uploads. Uploads! There you go, Tank. Nice. Hi, how you doing? So your limited run games, or similar, it doesn't have to just be those. They're obviously a premier brand in that space kind of thing. But you want the special edition. There is only a short number of them, because that's kind of how it works anyway. Special editions of games don't have endless numbers. They're already in short supply. So just get an external supplier to do that for you, and have special edition of games in one space. It doesn't have to be one brand, but one genre, one market where people can produce those, but produce them in short numbers, but en masse in terms of all of the games are done by the same people in the same place, and it still becomes a profitable market. That's the way that special and physical editions can exist. I'm interested to see, though, like, if we are going into a digital future, we talked about it then. Digital games cost more despite nothing justifying that. Nothing justifies that at all, because you pay for your online memberships through Game Pass or PS Plus or Xbox Gold or whatever you've got these days, your Nintendo subscriptions and so on. But then you have to pay more to get the game digitally. You're not paying for the server upkeep and stuff because that's what your monthly payment or your annual payment pays for. So you're paying for convenience and nothing else, which for them, they don't have to do anything. It's not manned. It's just a digital storefront. So there is no justification for the prices being up other than scarcity. You can't get that digital game from anywhere else. Obviously, PlayStation used to sell their codes through other retailers like Amazon's and so, and then got that pulled back. And then there is complaints and market noise around saying that monopolistic control of that is anti-consumer. It is, in my opinion. PlayStation being the only ones that can sell their codes digitally is monopolistic. It takes things away from other retailers, but makes it so that customers have no choice in the market. They are forced to buy things from PlayStation for PlayStation and only them. And we get into that Apple versus Epic situation where some people are going, yeah, but Apple made the App Store so they can do what they want with it. And it's like, but there is something that's written into society law that is once something becomes so mainstream that it becomes pivotal for life, governments have the power to step in and go, no, you have to change this because the whole world relies on you. You therefore have powers that shouldn't be granted to one entity. We have to regulate the way that this runs. So if we are starting to see digital only and physical disappear, then prices could go up. PlayStation got it's 90 quid now, it's 100 quid now, it's 120 quid for a game now. Like, who regulates that? And if they suddenly start going, yeah, it's 120 quid, but also we have to take 60% of the revenue that you that you get from games, suddenly the devs are like, fuck, I can't afford to make games here now. But you have to put it there because no one else is going to play it because there's only PlayStation and Xbox left in the console wars or something. So for me, I can see it getting to a place where PlayStation have to be able to sell their games elsewhere, so they have to commit some digital keys to Amazon and to Game or Walmart or whoever's selling games in the future. But also, I can see it getting to a point where PlayStation have to make it available to developers to be able to sell their software through side loading is a dirty word, but a more professional version of side loading. Okay, there's an alternative storefront, like you have to be able to add different storefronts to mobile phones or something now. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to get that on consoles, so that not necessarily Xbox, but PlayStation have like the marketplace, and in that you've got Ubisoft selling directly to customers and so on, and then that suddenly starts bringing prices down, which then makes competition, which then keeps it healthy. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get that way. I also wouldn't be surprised if we don't get that way for a long time, because PlayStation like that sweet money and they're making all of it, so why would they want that to happen? So yeah. I believe Square Enix have said that they're looking at increasing from £70. Really?
Right.
Like, read the room. Read the room. God damn. Like, the price has already gone up at an astronomical amount. There is a lot of money being made in video games. Don't get me wrong. Video games, I believe, are worth 70 quid. And I believe they're worth more. And we've had this conversation many times about the pound for pound, how much you get versus a cinema experience versus what you get in video games and so on. I believe they're worth it. But just because I, as a nuanced and balanced regular player of games that has it as a major part of his life, agree with that. Lots of other people wouldn't. 100 quid for a game? Used to cost me 40 quid. Nah, bollocks, I'll get rid of this, sell this, and suddenly we start to lose mainstream access to video gaming again. So,
that is a small benefit to having a PC, though, and let's be honest, like the games that are available on PC, you can get them for a fraction of the cost, regardless of the method that you end up picking them up, because more often than not, they're actually cheaper on Steam. And then you have the dreaded key retailers as well that are obviously selling keys for games, and why would anyone want to justify the cost of a near £600 console when the PlayStation 5 Pro eventually ends up coming out, to then pay £70 per game, when you might just go, do you know what, fuck this, I'm going to spend 900 quid on a gaming mid-range to high gaming PC, doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but I can pick up games for 25, 35 quid. In the long run, I'm going to be saving myself a fortune. Like, I genuinely think at some point there will become a time where that might end up happening.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is as well, is like, not only do you have PC giving you all those benefits there, you've got the opportunities on PC for pirating games. So people are already going to be more complacent. Not only do I have cheaper games, I have the opportunities for illegitimate free games. So your move, greedy brands, and it still stacks up though. Like in terms of other media, how much is a Now TV match pass? If you want to pay for Now TV for one day to watch United play on Super Sunday kind of thing, it's about 20 quid or something like that. 20 quid for 90 minutes of entertainment that isn't interactive, so I don't get to control Bruno Fernandes as he's crying at the referee or anything like that. Nope, I have to watch it. I don't get to do it. It only lasts me 90 minutes, but that Bruno Fernandes stuff that I'm watching is already propped up by gate receipts, by TV rights and payments, by merch, and all of the stuff that comes into that, other different brands that are paying in, other forms of sponsorship. It's already paid for 1,000,001 times. Video games doesn't have that to the same level, and is usually a much bigger, longer experience that you can engage with. So it still is good value in the grand scheme of things, but just because other things are milked doesn't mean that video games should be. So 70 quid's plenty. 70 quid is a step up, and that's where it stops. I believe Square... Oh, no, I said that one. Well, if Square keep pushing out quality games like Forspoken, it's well-deserved, Kappa. Oh, no. I mean, they do have some bangers, though, like your Final Fantasies and stuff. Like, Spidge has obviously been streaming Rebirth that he won from us in the loot drop. He's been loving it, and it looks really good. It's not my kind of game. I dropped in yesterday, I watched a bit of it, and it looks really good. So that's where your 70 quids are. But, yeah. What you want about? It's 50 quid a year, mate. Kappa again. Oop, 2 kappas in a row from Tito. Is that it? Is that a couple of coffees now? He's on the banter train. Way. Speaking of banter train, Sheepfragger, hi. Sheep had a command in his chat last night, !Gib, which I didn't expect as I dropped into the stream. It caught me off guard, and it was phenomenal. So basically, was she playing with 12? She was bantering of someone, and basically she killed some American people or something. So that was it. 12 called a racist or something, Sheep was saying. But there'd been other bits of banter throughout the stream. So Gib just summarised all of the things all the aspersions that had been cast. So she's like, yep, that's it, that's me. I'm a racist, crack smoking, seal laughing whore. But she said those words exactly like that as a clippable segment. I'm a racist, crack smoking, seal laughing whore. So that was it.
Yikes.
Clipped and put as a command in the stream. But as I walked in, I didn't realise he wasn't playing with Gib. So I just heard Gib on comms go, I'm a racist, crack-smoking, seal-laughing whore. And I was like, what the fuck just happened then?
What have I missed?
So yeah, there you go.
Amazing.
It was fun times. So nice, naturally, banter ensued, and we were all kind and supportive and so on, and Gib loved it. Everyone.
Of course.
You can get free gifts on eBay for 30 quid that gives you all the channels for a month. Is that a thing? I wouldn't know. I am a perfectly legitimate customer to all of the things that are expensive. Nice. Speaking of expensive things and perfectly legitimate, we'll jump into our final news story. So we've gone from PlayStation to Xbox and now over to Nintendo. Andy Robinson, this time at VGC, says Pokémon Direct with exciting news confirmed for this month. TPC, that's the Pokémon company, confirms Pokémon Presents digital event to celebrate Pokémon Day. So the Pokémon company has announced a digital event for next week, which says it will contain exciting news. The Pokémon Presents event will take place on Tuesday, February 27th at 2 p.m. in the UK, 2 p.m. GMT. According to a tweet by the official Pokemon account on X, that's Twitter, if you are a proper person, the presentation will feature, quote, exciting Pokemon news in celebration of Pokemon Day 2024. The last major Pokemon game was Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which was released in November 2022. 2022? Probably added a few extra 20s in there, but it's fine. This was followed up by a 2-part DLC expansion pass called The Hidden Treasure of Area Zero, with the first part releasing in September 2023 and the second arriving in December 2013? What the fuck? How did that work? Typo much? Anyway, a final epilogue for the DLC. That should have been 2023, I assume, by the way, just in case anyone reading this goes, what? So, a final epilogue for the DLC, which featured a new mythical Pokemon called... I don't know if that's meant to be Petch, but what I can see is Pekka Runt. I definitely wouldn't want to have that Pokemon in my starting six. Pekka Runt, I choose you. We'll call it that. Pekka Runt was released on January the 11th. As such, it's currently unclear what Game Freak's next major Pokemon project is, which implies there may be an announcement planned for the Pokemon Presents event next week. Interessant. Oh, wrong screen. There we go. Going to the red one. Pokémon Direct next week. Exciting news confirmed. I'm not going to ask you what your thoughts are, Bib, specifically. I'm going to ask you to make a choice on which way this goes. Do we get the future of Pokemon? And that future is one well-made, phenomenal user experience that has draw distance for miles, that has innovative storylines and stuff? Or do we get one game that comes out in 5 minutes, followed by another game that comes out 6 minutes after that, and then another game that comes out another 4 minutes after that one, and they're all of them a little bit... What are your thoughts?
I'd like to think it was the first option that you gave me, but I don't believe that is going to be the case until we get a Nintendo Direct where they announce that we're going to be getting a brand new Nintendo Switch console. I don't believe that they have utilized, I don't believe Pokemon games have utilized the full engine of the Nintendo Switch. I'm being genuinely honest with that. I think there is better looking and performing games on the Nintendo Switch than what we've received from the last couple of Pokemon games. I don't know how it's ended up like that, but that's just the way in which it is. We've spoke many times about the Pokemon Company and Game Freak when they come to creating games. I do believe that they are holding back because they think if we give it you once, you might not end up buying another one. So they just kind of gradually give you small little bits of updates, and it gets to a point where you're just like, there's other games doing what you're doing now, but better. How can how are you holding back so much with us? So I do believe that we may end up getting a new evolution of Pokemon games, but it just won't be on this console. So I can just see this being another run of the mill kind of presentation. But I always hold out hope. And it's always the nostalgia that ends up bringing me back in again. I have Pokemon Violet. I've got nowhere near completed it. I've got most of the recent Pokemon games, basically since they come back onto the Switch. I've started playing them again. I don't think I've completed any of them.
Are you
I tend to...
excited for a Pekka Runt?
It's going to be the first Pokemon in my party. It's going to be my following Pokemon, Graham.
Nice. Okay, jump into the chat then. Hope they come out with a Pal World version of Pokemon with more content. Tito, that's Pyroloop. Tito says, plot twist, the Pokemon Company buys Pocket Pair. I don't see Pokemon Company buying Pocket Pair. I feel like the Pokemon Company is very much no, we strangle the enemy to death rather than absorbing them. That's a Microsoft business strategy of, oh, that's cool. We'll just get you to do it. We'll buy yours and slowly change it into a Microsoft product. So I actually could see Microsoft buying Pocket Pair. I definitely think that's a thing. Pocket Pair is only a small team. So if they get a handsome lump of cash, I definitely feel like they would sell out. And Microsoft wants to increase their standing in Asia. And that is a brand that clearly is very close to Pokemon and has massive success. So I could see Microsoft actually doing that. It's a separate story, though. But as for Pokemon Direct, exciting news coming later this month. So next week, February 27th. Yeah, I mean, Pokemon was always one of those quality brands. It was kind of like a Mario. Yeah. A Mario game, it's very rare for a mainline Mario game, not including your sports games and stuff, because they often are hit and miss, like Strikers or Golf or whatever, might be good, might be terrible. You don't know what you're getting until you buy it, kind of thing. But mainline Pokemon games were always decent, and now they're not. They aren't. I mean, they are still great games for Pokemon fans, but if you don't have that brand affinity, or even if you do, you speak to Pokemon fans and their experience with games now, and they will tell you that they play the games in spite of the games. Whereas you go back 3, 4, 5 years when Pokemon was having its like resurgence, and it was like we play the games because of the games. And part of that's the hardware. Obviously, Nintendo Switch is older than it should be, has had so many more iterations than it should have, and we're on the cusp, surely, of the Switch 2 potentially next year, March, if we go by the scoop on Monday. Then we're about to get Switch 2, so maybe we start to see the Pokemon Company smashing it, especially if they're talking about games for next year, and we're only 1 year away from the Switch 2. We could start the marketing campaign for a game that absolutely smashes it on the Switch 2, or we could just have some stopgap games, which that's where we fill in with this whole narrative, is Pokemon Company. I felt like the last 2 or 3 years have been stopgap games, but at a high pace. Oh, we'll bring you another mainline game. I almost said a Palmer and Violet rather than, what's the other? Scarlet and Violet. Fucking Palmer Violets.
Violet,
yeah. A Palmer and Violet. Fucking, do you want Pokemon Palmer Violets? Let's go. So,
class.
but like your X and Y's, your Swords and Shield, your Palmer and Violets. Nice. So you go through all of those sort of things, but then we've had Legends Arceus, and then we've had Pokemon Sleep, or whatever the fuck that was, and all of these other things that they are just going, shit, if we pump Pokemon out everywhere, people will buy it. And it's like, that's always been the case. People like the merch, people like the collection and stuff like that. But they've always done that because your mainstream stuff, your core canon storyline, has always been a great boundary pushing experience. And now you kind of, you're not pushing the boundaries, you've lost the boundaries. What the fuck, where am I? You've gone past the boundaries, you're in the forest. The boundaries are long gone. Fuck that shit. So I hope, and I don't see it just yet, I don't believe we're there. I feel like we will need the new hardware and a new level cap on development before the Pokemon Company does something amazingly exciting. We've had 25 years of Pokemon. Ash, spoilers, by the way, has finally won the Pokemon League and is the Pokemon Master that he always wanted to be, and is retired from the series, as has Pikachu as his main buddy, and so on. We've had the big heyday in this last 12 months, and we still didn't hit where we should have been in video games. I feel like if you've not hit it in year 25, you're not hitting it in year 26. So it will take something more miraculous, like a new system, before we get that. That said, I am intrigued to see what it is, because even though there's only 151 Pokemon that exist to me, I'm still always got an eye on it. I'm still a fan, so yeah.
We always will be. Like, even if your Nintendo isn't even if Nintendo isn't your primary console, it's a console that gamers would have grown up with in some capacity or another. Whether or not it would be like a Game Boy Color, the original Game Boy that obviously came with Tetris, the Nintendo Switch, whatever it could be, the Wii, the SNES, whatever. We've all had one, and we've all gamed on it, whether or not it be a Super Mario game, a Zelda game, a Pokemon game, and everyone's still rooting for it, and we just hope that we end up getting something more worthwhile, something better than what's already currently on the market, because I do feel that there is a lot of game series that have just grown a little bit stale, that could have probably had an injection of life put into it a couple of games ago, 4 games ago in some instances. So yeah, I'm very interested to see what we end up getting from a Pokemon game in the next 2 or 3 years, because I don't want to say it's do or die, because they will continue to sell Pokemon stuff. It's one of the biggest IPs in the world, whether or not it's a video game, the TV series, films, or obviously the trading cards. It's an unbelievable IP.
Yeah. But if they don't do that, Palworld, Temtem, they're stepping into the gap, and they're finding out how far they can spread without getting hit by legal ramifications. And whether it's Palworld or Temtem, someone will eventually take that crown from them. And if that's Pocket Pair doing it on their own with Palworld, okay, they'll be the new Pokemon Company. And if it's not the Palworld doing it, Pocket Pair doing it on their own, Microsoft or someone will come in and they will engineer that throughway. It will happen. It always happens. So they've got away with taking the brand for granted for 25 years. People still have always wanted that open world Pokemon journey that Palworld has given a lot of people, and they've never had to do that, but they've had to do that more recently. So if they have been getting away with it, that is not something that will be granted to them forever. So it'd be interesting to see how they go. Don't expect that sort of change at this Nintendo Direct on the this Pokemon Direct on the 27th, which is 6 days from now. But surely within the 12 months after, we're going to start to see something, right? Maybe. I'm not sure. I wouldn't even go that far, but hopefully it pushes Nintendo. Hopefully, Nintendo are sat there listening to this going, you absolute pair of nipples. The reason we've been releasing these subpar games is because we are the Pokemon company, which is owned by Nintendo, but not Nintendo. We can't define how powerful the Switch is. So we've been sat here waiting to bring you a Pokemon experience that rocks your world, but we won't get that until the Switch 2. So hopefully they're sat there going, don't worry, you numpties, we will show you. And do you know what? If that's the case, fine. Bring us a Pokemon game at launch next March alongside the Switch 2, and then everything is good.
Oh, yeah. All is forgiven.
Yeah. But that remains to be seen. Do you know what else remains to be seen? The end of the show, which is what we're going to bring you right now. We're going to finish things up. Thank you, everyone that's been around for the news stories. That is it. We've brought you stories about the PS5 Pro, the PS Portal. Xbox is still making physical games for now, probably, maybe. Depends on you. Do you want physical games? If you want them, then we want them. Right. And Pokemon Direct is coming next week. A reminder, there is a Nintendo Direct that has taken place today, so that will probably be in the next episode of The Scoop, whether that's tomorrow or Friday. We'll bring you coverage of that and any other breaking stories. Also, reminders, I will be back tonight, 6:30pm-ish, for some PUBG, so if you want to play some games tonight, please do feel free to stick around. I know there's me, there's Nietzsche, and Theodore Norton are going to be playing some games, so...
Tito in! Is Tito a PUBG now?
He's played 3 times now. 3 times he's
played.
Oh
my God. What a guy.
Yeah. Wins on pretty much every stream we've had with him as well.
Oh.
He's been dead for all of them.
I'm about to say his KD must be onkin, but yeah, he's taking the wins.
To be fair, he's not bad. He's not bad. He'll naturally throw himself under the bus because that's just Tito anyway. But he
bad carrier.
He isn't as bad as he would portray. He's had some decent kills. Like the other day, do you know when you get killed and someone else like is left and you think, oh, they've got to kill them. Well, we're all going back to the lobby. It's just 10 seconds away. I've got to wait 10 seconds. And then Tito murders them. I'm like, fuck yeah!
Go on. I'm waiting for the rest of the story. He died instantly.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't, sadly. I mean, wonderfully. Nice.
Yeah. There's your 4th as well. Doom wants in.
I want to play some games tonight. Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah. Well, we'll be live 6:30ish. So yes, we'll see you then. Nice. Ash must be as old as me now. I think Ash, despite being in Pokemon games for 25 years, was always like 10 years old or something like that. Which that's a whole different issue on its own. Like, how was he 10 for 25 years? But also, why is some mother letting like the 10-year-old boy just piss off around the world with wild animals and adult friends? What is this fucking weird shit going on? But anyway, that's a whole different conversation. I'm trying, but I do honestly appreciate everyone's patience with me. It's all right. We play with Nietzsche. It's fine. Like, I mean, Nietzsche tries as well, but at least we can understand you. Like, you're in the middle of a shoot and you're no, so and the black bag like, and you're like, I don't even know what he's just said.
No, what are you going to go in on a board?
Nietzsche, have you got Forex?
Brexit.
Oh, okay. Thanks, mate. Bye. Thing is, I don't even think he's here watching this abuse, so it makes it all pointless. It's only worthwhile when he's sat there. But yes, we are going to finish. Thank you, everyone that stuck around for this scoop today. As mentioned, games tonight, and then obviously on the weekend too. There will be no stream on Friday, remembers, because Bibby streamed last night. He did.
I did.
And I did as well.
I did no dubs. That's 2 Fortnite streams in a row where I've got no dubs, which is absolutely stinking, but we'll be back on the dub train soon.
I mean, I used a katana and absolutely shot on 2 dudes. That was a dub for me.
You did.
So
you did. That was world class. You know what? It's actually making me think, do I need this in my loadout as like a 3rd choice weapon? I don't know. I'm still pondering the idea.
It's lightsabers, basically. So just do your own sound effects as you do it. That's it. Job's a good one. Nice.
Yeah, I might have to.
But before you do weird lightsaber sound effects into the microphone, is there anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Bibb?
Yes, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for the 2nd episode of The Scoop this week. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Let's try and make it 4 tomorrow. No, we'll try and make it 3 tomorrow. Whatever! If you want to help us bring our next show together, there's 2 ways you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It's outside Screen uploads across all major social media platforms. Or alternatively, get involved with our Discord. If you're watching this on any of our on-demand services, go into the description below. All the links that you require will be listed there, but all we need from you is the URL plus your thoughts and opinions. We We'll then give you our thoughts and opinions on the very next show, which will be at what time, at some point this week, Mr. Graham Day?
10 a.m.
Ish. Yeah. Please do stick around. So even if we're not live at 10 a.m.-ish tomorrow, we can take you to someone else that's playing video games right now. And I actually see a Wild Lotus is playing games on Twitch.
Oh.
He's playing GTA 5 RP. It says test, but fuck it, we'll raid him anyway because we can. Yeah.
Let's do it.
So please do stick around. We'll go see Lotus, who we haven't had the chance to raid for a bajillion years because I don't remember the last time he streamed, but stick around. We will go over there and we will say hi. Lotus doesn't exist. He quit clubs. He hasn't quit.
Oh.
It's just not playing with ingrates. I remember him saying, and this is a factual conversation, that he wanted to play for the Budge or whatever they were, for the Bodge. Oh, there was something like that. I can't remember the name. FC. Whilst he just to keep him in shape, like match fit for ICUFC, but as ICUFC are rolling on to bigger and better things than for the Bodge. He's like, do you know what? If it's not good enough for ICUFC, it's not good enough for me either. So understandable. Shake them off, scrape them off. Anyway, enough. Nice. Okay, 6:30. Yeah, don't be late. You need to check your emotes. It's ish, mate. 6:30 ish. It might be 6:30. It might be 6:45. It might be 7:45. Oh, Lotus has gone. Fuck. Let's not.
Gone offline.
It's just got offline. Let's not raid Lotus.
Yes.
Let's raid someone else. I'll be watching. I mean, waiting, or do I?
I don't know.
I thought it was this voice.
Nice. Anyway, we're going to throw out the end. Have yourselves a beautiful day. Until next time, stay frosty.
Stay frosty.